Hey guys, welcome to the first NFL Retweet video mock draft. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below, and I'll do more videos as the draft approaches. Laramie Tunsil might not be the sexiest pick, but the Titans have an opportunity to give Marcus Mariota two solid tackles for the next 5 to 10 years. None of the quarterbacks in this draft are that safe of a pick. If the Browns are smart, they'll take a safe pick in Joey Bosa, build around him on defense, and then select a quarterback later so that there's not so much pressure on them to succeed immediately. Jalen Ramsey is my favorite player in this draft. It's not often you get a defensive back with skills like his. The Chargers are letting go of Eric Weddle this offseason, so it would be a perfect opportunity for Ramsey to slide right into their safety position. The Cowboys just can't afford to draft a quarterback number 4 overall with the holes they have on defense. Miles Jack's a once-in-a-lifetime type of linebacker and would be a great playmaking presence to add to their defense. Gus Bradley's only a few pieces away from his defense being a respectable unit. Adding DeForest Buckner to last year's first-round pick, Dante Fowler, could make this a very disruptive defensive line for years to come. The Ravens are rebuilding their secondary to try and keep up with the wide receivers in the AFC North. Vernon Hargreaves III is a great man-to-man defender and will be able to keep up with some of these elite receivers that they have to deal with on a weekly basis. Before Chip Kelly, everybody had the 49ers picking a quarterback. Then after he was hired, everyone thought that Colin Kaepernick and him would be a perfect marriage. Now Colin Kaepernick's kind of wavering on the 49ers, so the soap opera in San Francisco is going to continue on. I think that they probably need to just go ahead and cut ties with Colin Kaepernick. And Jared Goff actually seems like a perfect fit for Chip Kelly's system. He can move around a little bit. He's got great accuracy, and he's definitely a California boy, so keeping him in the Bay Area might be a perfect fit for him. Brent Grimes is going to be 33 this offseason, and he really struggled in 2015. The Dolphins lack secondary talent, and they need to make sure they get one of these top-tier cornerbacks. Mackenzie Alexander had a great year and will bring a little bit of attitude and swagger to their Miami defense. The Bucs are no stranger to picking Clemson defensive ends, and they really need a boost there right now. Shaq Lawson is built like a tank and can play the run and the pass equally well. Despite being dismissed from Ohio State for an ecstasy addiction, Noah Spence might be the best overall defensive end in this draft. He only has to convince one NFL GM that he's a changed man, and Jerry Reese of the Giants might be desperate enough to give this guy his chance. Assuming the Bears get Jay Cutler to restructure his contract and they're not looking for a quarterback with this pick, A'Shawn Robinson would be perfect for their 3 technique and their 3-4 defense. The Saints are in dire need of players that can get a little push on the defensive side of the ball. Sheldon Rankins is having an Aaron Donald-like rise up draft boards this offseason and could have a similar rookie impact. Obviously, Sam Bradford was not the answer in Philadelphia last year. New head coach Doug Peterson was a quarterback himself, so it's likely he's going to want to find a guy that he likes to mold on his own. And Carson Wentz got a wide range of tools that any quarterback's coach would love to get his hands on. Reggie McKenzie has nailed the past couple drafts for the Raiders. If Ronnie Stanley falls in his lap at 14, this should be a no-brainer pick for him. Derek Carr is obviously a franchise quarterback, and Latavius Murray seems to be a very serviceable running back, but for this offense to reach its full potential, they're going to need more big guys up front. I'm not sold on Jeff Fisher drafting a quarterback in the first round, but I am sold on the fact that the Rams are going nowhere offensively without a quarterback, and Paxton Lynch is the best option at this point. Unless the Lions can talk Calvin Johnson out of retiring, I don't see how they could pass up on Laquan Treadwell at this point in the draft. The Falcons could make it 2 years in a row that they select Clemson defensive ends. Last year it was Vic Beasley. This year it could be Kevin Dodd, who's actually a perfect complement to Beasley's speed rush and could play the 6 technique in Dan Quinn's defense. Although there's no other team in the NFL that has offensive line as quite a big a need as the Colts do, Ezekiel Elliott is just too good of a talent to pass up, and sometimes a good running back can actually hide the deficiencies of an offensive line. They can address the offensive line later in the draft, but it's hard to pass up on a talent like him. Michigan State offensive tackle Jack Conklin fits exactly what Rex Ryan is looking for in his offensive lineman. Said last year he was looking for bullies, and there's none tougher than Jack Conklin. The Jets' defense is lacking athleticism in their pass rush. Leonard Floyd has got tons of athleticism. He's a little bit thin for the position. If he gets into an NFL weight room and puts on some solid muscle, he could contribute as a full-time defender. The Redskins are stuck with Kirk Cousins as their starting quarterback for at least another season after his breakout second half of the year in 2015. If they want him to be successful, they're going to need to find him more weapons, and Josh Doctson is a legitimate number 1 wide receiver. The Texans are still looking for that franchise quarterback, and I think that Bill O'Brien's going to make it work with Christian Hackenberg. I think he's going to hold off until the second round and use the first round pick to get the guy some protection so he doesn't get beat up like he did for 3 years at Penn State. Speaking of quarterbacks taking a beating, Teddy Bridgewater was abused in 2015, and the Vikings would be wise to go ahead and get their franchise quarterback some protection. Notre Dame linebacker Jalen Smith might not even be available for his rookie season after tearing his ACL in his bowl game, but the Bengals have shown before that they're willing to take a patient approach to the draft and stay true to their board and take the best player available. Jalen Smith also would allow them to move on from the headache that is Vontaze Burfict. The Steelers' secondary is in desperate need of cornerbacks, and Kendall Fuller comes with the attitude and swagger that Mike Tomlin likes from his players, not to mention the NFL pedigree. It's very likely that the Seahawks lose Bruce Irvin to free agency, but they're quick to find a replacement in Darren Lee, who may actually even be a better fit for their scheme than Irvin was. Lee is a very instinctive, athletic linebacker who'd be great in coverage. The Packers' hole at middle linebacker needs to be plugged as soon as possible. Clay Matthews is not made for that position, and he will wear down eventually, shortening his career if they continue to play him there. Reggie Ragland's a great leader. He is an old school linebacker that fits the Packers mold very well, and he'd be a great addition to their defense. It's been a while since Andy Reid's drafted a wide receiver in the first round, but after reuniting with his last first round pick, Jeremy Maclin, I think he sees that his offense could be a lot better with some legitimate wide receiving threats, and Corey Coleman plays above his size and would take some of the pressure off of Maclin, allowing Alex Smith to truly thrive. With the top pass rushers off the board, the Cardinals could look to fill another need and draft a corner to play opposite of Patrick Peterson. The Panthers' offensive line, while better, was still not great in 2015, and if they look to improve the offensive line, they could have an even more efficient running attack in 2016 and beyond. Baylor nose tackle Andrew Billings has got such a rare combination of strength and athleticism at the nose tackle position. You plug him in on the defensive line between Von Miller and DeMarcus Ware, and the Broncos' defense could be even better in 2016.